Jeremy Clarkson has lashed out at Nicola Sturgeon over her hatred of the English and coronavirus restrictions. The co-host of Amazon's The Grand Tour spoke about the difficulties in filming the show's new season over coronavirus guidelines in Scotland. He attacked the dizzying list of restrictions him and cast mates Richard Hammond and James May had to follow while filming in Scotland. Mr. Clarkson has previously criticized the First Minister for her alleged dislike for English people. The Grand Tour stars were filming a new season of the show in Edinburgh, where the trio would drive a classic American car to North Uist in the Western Islands. While complaining about the difficulties filming over the new restrictions in the Sunday Times, Mr. Clarkson hit out at Ms. Sturgeon for the tough measures and expressed his fears the shoot would be scrapped. He said, "I didn't think there was a hope in hell we'd get started, let alone finished. And that's before we get to the problem with Scotland." Nicola Sturgeon seems to be driven solely by a deep-seated hatred of the English, so we were expecting her to close the border at any moment. Which would have meant throwing away all the money that had been spent. Mr. Clarkson also told all about the stress of filming a new show under tight coronavirus restrictions set by Amazon in accordance with Ms. Sturgeon's measures. He said, "The rules of engagement it supplied were dizzying. We were to take our own testing lab on the 1,000-mile journey and the key players were to be tested every day. Everyone on the crew had to maintain a distance of 6 feet from one another, which is pretty tricky when you're in a car. And anything anyone touched had to be sterilized before someone could touch it again. This meant removing the locks from our cars and giving everyone screwdrivers to break in, because keys were deemed lethal. The cost of meeting all these requirements was enormous." The TV star also criticized Ms. Sturgeon over her measures closing hospitality industries for 2 weeks. He said in a column for the Scottish Sun, "This week she shut half of Scotland. It's obvious she didn't want to do that because it's daft. I imagine she would rather spend an evening at a wife-swapping party. But she knew that the economic damage she caused by closing everything down would have to be mended, ultimately, by taxpayers in England. Everything she does is not for the good of the people of Scotland. It's to bugger up life for everyone south of the border."